Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. This is Healing Body, Mind, and Soul, and I'm your host, Aeriol Asher. Today, I'm here with my longtime friend and healer, Robyn. Now, she's here today. We were just chit-chatting before we got online here today about what we would talk about today. And since it's timely on our whole self-care podcast, I thought that I would bring her on and she could share with you some of the magic that this goddess of joy is up to. Welcome, Robyn. It's so awesome to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Super great. So, just so that our listeners can know, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do in the healing world?
Sure. My name is Robyn Vie Carpenter-Brisco.
That's a mouthful right
I
there.
know. I know. Vi, which is my mother's maiden name, Carpenter is my father's last name, and Brisco is my married name. My father legally changed his name, took my mother's maiden name and hyphenated it. And because when you translate that name, it means life builder, because Vi Carpenter. When I got married, I couldn't change my name because my name was kind of my life mission. So I just added the other name on the end. So
Take all the names.
I have them all. It got me in the New York Times. So, I figure why not? Let's keep it. But yeah, so I'm your favorite spiritual life coach. That's what I always tell people. I wrote a book about how to think about using stones and crystals in your life, called Let's Get Stoned. Using stones and crystals to create a life that rocks. Interestingly enough, the person that we met each other through, Jen August,
Jen
is who helped me name the book.
Super great. Super great. And I bet it gets a lot of attention because of the way that you framed it and everything. It's really kitschy. It's really funny. I love, love, love it. And we have known each other a long time. I think we met in Jen August at one of her events. And I think that you've spoken at my center before with your crystals. And now I'm doing the podcast online. So I'm kind of doing the same thing virtually online. So why don't we give our listeners, can you give them some tips about what to do, how they can create a sanctuary for themselves or create a life that rocks inside?
Yeah.
Because at the time we're sheltering in place, how can we bring our rock friends inside to help us out? How can we bring that into our lives at this time?
Well, what's so great about the reason that I really encourage people about using stones and crystals is in daily practice is because they're like talismans to remind us of our intentions in life, right? So people choose a stone, usually, oh, it's pretty, or someone says, oh, you need this stone, or they are walking in a store and they see a sign that says, this is for this, and they go, oh, I need that, whatever it is. And then they take it home and then they don't do anything with it. Like they don't interact with it. It just sits there. They say, oh, I'm going to put it on my altar, except they don't go to their altar every day and interact with the stones. It just becomes like furniture. And so
don't the stones get a little bit ticked off that they're like
you got me here and now what am I doing? And then sometimes they hear, they go, oh, you're supposed to cleanse your stones. So they take them outside, either in the new moon to cleanse your stones or in the full moon to charge your stones or whatever it is that they heard. And they do that. But then they still come back on the altar maybe in a different configuration, but they're still not doing anything. And so the whole point of the book and everything that I'm always talking to people about is like, you need to pick them up. You need to like meditate with them. You need to, when you have work you need to do, you need to sit a stone next to your computer that is about getting stuff done, you know, is about writing, or is it, you know, there are so many stones that, you know, I could, you know, I work with kyanite, blue kyanite a lot. That's a big writing communication stone. So I always have that around me. But and it was a gift, actually. I get people give me like the strangest gifts. Well, not they're strange.
Once you claim it, once you claim it, then people start, then people go, oh, that's her thing, right?
Oh, look, here, let me do the thing. Yeah, and for years, people have been like giving me stones, just kind of randomly, you know, because they figure, oh,
because
I think I'm
you
supposed
rock,
to give this
Robyn.
to you.
You're rocking Robyn.
My whole life. But yeah, so right now, you know, people are craving nature, you know, some people are doing the thing where they're driving, where they're going to the beach when, you know, they're a little too close and all the things, but other people are really just getting outside, and people are creating their own gardens. And I say that this is when you can tend to your internal garden, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And using a stone or crystal chosen to help you, you know, remember the thing that you said that is really important to you in your life. You know, not all the stuff that people are telling you you're supposed to be paying attention to, but the thing that you have within you that is yours to do. And this is your time to reconnect to that and remember who your authentic self is. And in doing that, you know, all the noise kind of falls away, and you really can be okay whatever's going on. And you know, and that's where new stuff pops up, and that's where innovation happens.
Robyn, can you make any suggestions to our listeners about a stone that would anchor them to their authentic self in that way?
Well, the stone that I'm really loving right now, which is literally called your genius stone, it's fluorite.
Is it really? Oh, I've got a little piece of fluorite. Isn't that funny? I've got some. Actually, it's on the other table. It's a little bit out of my arm's reach, but I've got a little piece. I didn't know it was called that. That makes me love it even more.
Yes, I've always loved fluorite. It's one of those stones. It loves all the other stones. Other stones love fluorite. It feels really good. It comes in all kinds of colors. So, you know, each color will you know, kind of connect to a specific chakra. At the same time, it's really about the genius that you have at that center of that chakra. Whatever's going on for you, it's always just gonna like hone in on what is yours to know and radiate from.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so fluorite is, you know, is my friend. I have a lot of fluorite. I work with a lot. I have a palm stone. I have little tiny ones that I sprinkle all over my my altar. I have, you know, I that's the thing that is important for people to understand, is that you can use it everywhere. You can use stones all over your house, carry them, wear them. They're always there to connect to that energy, to help remind you of the thing that you're saying is something that you want to be. You know, if you only have it in one place and you stop looking at that place, you know, your altar sometimes becomes like the thing you stick on your refrigerator, you know, refrigerator magnets as an altar is really what happens.
Right? Yes. Robyn, it's been a while since we connected. I totally understand what you're saying. I love it. It's so great. So fluorite.
Yeah.
I love
fluorite.
what you're saying here, Robyn, about needing to touch the stones and pay attention and interact with the stones in order to draw out their magic. I think that what I'm hearing, an underlying message of treat them like your friends, like they're magic. You know, they're only as alive as you allow them to be.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Labradorite is a
ignites,
good stone for them.
I think that they vibrate. I am a
They do.
wholehearted believer in this. And as a sound healer and the energy and body work that I do, I totally believe that they vibrate. I use them in my healing work as well, but it's not my area of expertise. But I will say this: it's only as much as you're willing to have them work for you, they will work for you, right?
Yes.
Isn't it your mindset, Robyn?
Yes. Well, and I always say that stones are the perfect mindset tool, because you get the stone because it's got a specific intention, right? And it's an intention that you want to amplify: love, success, abundance, whatever. Right? And then you don't necessarily know if the stone itself is working, but you create a mantra to talk every time you pick up that stone. You think that mantra, right? And then first you're just doing it and it kind of feels fake. And then after a while, it feels like it's really working, like you're really in, like it's happening. And then when you kind of fall off, sometimes it's really happening and you're like, oh, I'm in flow. And then you stop doing all the things that got you there. Then it's the thing that reminds you, like the minute you see it, it reminds you again, oh, right. I am abundant. I am love in action. I am, whatever it is that you were claiming as part of working with that stone. So it's this beautiful kind of symbiotic relationship that you can create with your stones, so that not only are you having that oneness with the energy of that stone, it's continually reminding you and keeping you in the space of alignment of the intentions that you're setting for your life.
Beautiful. Right. It is a great way to anchor that mindset and to instantaneously draw it back to you. Love it. I love these touchstones. Okay, so we want to know more super tips, Robyn. What else besides the fluorite? Well, I love the fluorite. I love that you mentioned the fluorite at this time, but most specifically, not just because I enjoy listening to you talk about the stones, but what can people do if they're having anxiety during this time of quarantine, when our economy is upset? What can people do to moderate these feelings by using tools like stones?
Well, the thing to get a hold of is, what are you afraid of? Because what happens is, there's so many stones, right? And so many stones that people say, oh, this is really good for,
fill in the blank, right? Yeah.
Right. And but then you look and there's like a list of like 20 stones, and you're like, well, how am I supposed to know that that's the stone that I'm supposed to be using versus this, and the thing that you always have to kind of hone in on is, what is it that's really bothering you? Like, what are you really afraid of? Are you really afraid of your well-being? Is it really a root chakra kind of thing? Are you really like afraid that the rug's going to be pulled out from under you, or do you have like kind of general anxiety about fear of the future and uncertainty? So if you have to kind of have discernment, and maybe that's the place you start. Maybe you don't know what you're afraid of. You just know that you have this anxiety feeling. So then you start with discernment. So maybe you need just a quartz. You just need to get a clear quartz palm stone. I have one that I just put in what I call a spiritual awareness kit of stones, and it's this kit. You just sit and you figure out okay, what's the question I really need to be clear about? You know, what am I afraid of? Because then you can move on from there, you know, like you can make a plan.
Right.
And
If
the
you don't
game of,
identify the problem, then you can't
yes,
go anywhere.
right. And so if you
The
just kind
problem.
of get all whirled up in the idea that I have anxiety, and you just choose a stone for anxiety, but you don't really know what you're anxious about, you're not going to get anywhere. You might just feel more harmonious, but you're not actually getting anywhere. And the whole point of using the stones is to figure out what the tool is that you need. So figure out, what is it you're really afraid of? Get clear about that, and then move. And then you choose the next stone based on what it is that you think that you're afraid of. You know, I think that I'm afraid that what I have is going to be taken from me, and I'm going to be left with no money, no home, no whatever, then that's a root chakra problem. And then you choose a root chakra stone, you know, like carnelian.
Love, love, love it. So Robyn, you said, is that a service that you provide for your clients? Do you put together these magic packs for them so that they can play with the stones? Do you prescribe boxes of friends and remedies?
Yes, it's funny that you say that. I do. There are two services that I provide. One, I write what I call a stone prescription, and I literally create a report based on you and conversations we have, and I pull your chart and, you know, have intuitive time and do other stuff, do kind of all kinds of magical things, and figure out what are your 10 stones that you need in 10 categories, and choose them for you. Choose what the stone is, why the stone is, and then what you're supposed to use it, how you're supposed to use it in your life each day. And I write the report and I send that to you. Some people, I go shopping for them for those stones as well. And then some people just want me to like put together some bundles of, you know, inspiration. And so I call them spiritual empowerment kits or spiritual awareness kits, where it's like, and they're just kind of
Spiritual whack packs, but you're not allowed to throw your rocks at your friends. Right? You're not allowed to throw your stones.
No throwing your stones at people.
No.
Unless you
You
really
know me,
think
Robyn. I'm a wear your stones. I'm a wear your stones kind
yes,
of gal. I love that. Oh, Robyn,
yeah.
it's so great to connect with you. And I'm sure that our listeners would love to get some of your magic so they can create this symbiotic relationship with the stones that they have, or perhaps get your guidance about stones that they should start collecting. Where can they reach out to you?
So you can find me on my Facebook page for the book. The book is again called Let's Get Stoned. If you want to find the page quickly, use the @ and Create a Life That Rocks on Facebook. And I'm on Instagram as Goddess of Joy. And you can certainly just send me an email at goddessofjoy1@gmail.com.
Super great. Robyn, it is an honor and a pleasure to connect with you. You never disappoint.
So great.
I feel so strongly connected in my heart to you. Really, I love the work you do. I love Let's Get Stoned. I love it's just it's all so brilliant. The work and how you've packaged the work, and the wonderful awareness work that you're doing with your clients. I hope that our listeners have gotten some value today from our conversation, and I highly recommend that you get Robyn's book or lean in so that you too can have this symbiotic relationship with nature, even under these quarantine circumstances. So until next time, everyone, I'm Aeriol Asher, your host. Happy healing.